You just can't get away from Barbie mania at the moment. And as I said earlier, you honestly could be forgiven for thinking the film is out already. That's the amount of promo that's been done on it. And it's not. It's going to hit screens on Friday. But just how great is Barbie exactly? Because one journo has called her every girl's gateway drug to a life of self-loathing. That's from the Mail, Sarah Vine. She says, am I the only person that still thinks Barbie is just another cog in the cultural machine that tells little girls that if they don't grow up to be thin, white blondes with size 3 feet, perky breasts, a tiny waist and fixed white smile, they are worthless? Literally a doll. And in the Times today, Harriet Walker writes, among the families we hang out with, giving a Barbie to a girl would be as frowned upon as giving a boy a toy gun. It's a very interesting way of looking at it. Some strong opinions there, Kelly. So where do you sit in this discussion?
I mean, when I was little, I was a Barbie fan and also a Cindy fan. I liked Cindy. But the thing is, you know, I was influenced by what she looked like because at that time there was, you know, it wasn't a time of social media, and so the dolls were sort of idolised at that time. You needed to look like that, otherwise, you know, it was all that sort of Baywatch, Pamela Anderson, you know, you had to have that kind of look about you. And so societally, it was all about that look. And so for me, as a little black girl growing up, I used to put like a pair of tights on my head to try and... I kid you not. You're laughing because you did it too, right? I used to put a pair of tights on my head so that I could kind of have the long hair.
You could flick your hair.
So I could flick it, because I was like, you know, Afro hair doesn't really flick. So I was like, oh, you know, so just so I could kind of flick my hair around and feel like my friends...
Just to clarify, Afro hair in its natural state as opposed to your hair today.
Yeah.
People might get confused.
Well, yeah, you can flick yours.
Yeah, you can flick mine,
exactly.
but it's natural. But when it's natural and not blow-dried out...
Absolutely.
It doesn't do this. Yeah. Yeah.
So I just wanted to be able to do that.
Motion, babe. All in motion.
Mine's slipping.
Yeah, babe.
Yeah. But do you think that had an impact on you, sort of playing with toys?
Okay. Most 100%, because I went on then to feel like I wasn't attractive. And I'm not saying that, you know, Barbie is, you know, completely responsible for those feelings, but everything around me at that time said this was beautiful, this is what pretty is. And if you didn't fit that box, then you know, then you weren't. And it did go on to my primary school. At primary school, I was never the girl that anybody wanted to go out with. I was never the girl that anybody fancied. Now, some people could say, well, maybe that was your personality. But, you know, there were... As in... Because you could, because that could be the argument. Right? But at the same time, you know, I never felt that way. I never felt attractive because I felt like that was the epitome of what beauty was at that time. Yeah. And it wasn't just the doll. There were magazines and around, like I said, Baywatch, TV programmes, everything, right? So that's kind of how it was. And even with my child now, I bought her and you know, I must say about Barbie, I've got some stats here. So in 1968, Christie came out. That was the first black Barbie, but never available in the UK.
Oh no, we couldn't get it here.
Couldn't get it here. Yeah. 2015, Barbie introduced the curvy doll. 2019, there was like a doll released with disabilities, a doll in a wheelchair, prosthetic leg, and all of those kinds of things. So they have kind of branched out since then, which is great to have that released now, but at that time it just wasn't the same.
But it was very different for you, though.
Yeah, I you know, we were talking about this, and I couldn't quite relate to that feeling of, as you say, need to look like or box ticking.
Or have the body shape.
Or have the body shape. For me, it was... my Auntie Pam, she'd go away, she'd come back and she'd bring me a doll. I liked the Barbie doll because I liked the fact that you could change her clothes. You could... And I used to braid her hair. I didn't care how silky it was braided, and I would braid it, and I would mix and match through it. And I think that, when I was thinking about it today, that's probably where my whole passion for fashion and creating, and now I'm designing my own clothes, and I think that's ultimately where it's come from. So I looked at it as a tool of, this is how, you know, what can I achieve with this doll, rather than how is that setting a standard for me or a box to fit in. I'm not in no box. I'm not going to be in that.
Oh, it wasn't that deep for me. She was just the most boring doll on the planet. Unless you can feed her a bottle and then she wheezes it out in a nappy and
That's
you change
tiny
all that.
tears.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what? My Florence is the same. She's got not that much interest in dolls.
And
She
you
just
know,
likes
when I did used to see Barbie and all, I just never thought of
Yeah.
toys being an influence. They were just toys. I'd play with them 1 minute and bin in the next.
Yeah.
You know, when my kids came along, Teletubbies were in fashion. Maybe that's why I am the way.
Oh, stop it. Stop